What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, look at this. This is a Christmas sweater Al ordered. It was supposed to be here on December 20th. Guess what? I got it 2 days ago. I can't believe that. Today is the 31st. I got it a month late.
Was it at least worth it?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, look, it's got the frogs he eats. We got the Mando symbols. It's super comfy. It's worth it. I'll have to wear it next December, but I thought I'd wear it today a little bit because I don't have anything to do. I'm not going anywhere.
I'd just be so mad for like a month.
I
would just always
been
be
communicating with the website. I was upset. They're like, dude, you got to wait 40 days. This came in at like day 35 before they were going to have to send me a new one or give me money back. But anyway, speaking of money, guys, thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Steve, Kimberly, you guys rock. If you are not a member of the patronage, go join it. Link is in the description. Please go join it. It would mean a lot to the two who don't make much off of this. Also, Kyle and I just dropped Valentine's Day merchandise over at teespring.com/stores/movie meals. Links in the description. I'm wearing, let me get on the chair here. I'm wearing some movie meal pants. Ooh, these sweats are so comfortable. I love them. The design Kyle has is amazing. We have special Valentine's Day merch we created. I'm all out of focus now because I got up. But we got twists on Casablanca's famous quotes for love. We talk about the real love in our lives, which is snacks. We've got some I love snacks memorabilia. We've got some fun plays for the ladies out there on some cool stuff. So go check that out. They should be popping up on the screen in the edit here. Go get it. Links in the description. It would mean a lot to us. The quality is amazing. Teespring does a great job. All right, WandaVision. All spoilers. Episode 4. Kyle, we'll start with you, and hopefully I can figure out why I'm still out of focus. What did you think of this episode? This very different episode that has divided a lot of the internet on the people who hate this show and don't like the direction to the people who love this show.
Well, for me, it's one of those small happy moments in life to where you go into something blind and in the first few moments of whatever you're watching, you realize you're going to love the episode. That was kind of me with this. I mean, when we get the reveal that the woman who was
Kat Dennings.
No, not that part.
Because everything you're talking about is for me was Kat Dennings. I was like, let's go. No, I'm kidding. Man. It was all of it. I know what you're going with.
But I'm going to start at the beginning where we jump, I guess, back in time a bit to where the unsnapping happens, like when Hulk unsnapped everything in Avengers Endgame, and it reveals like who this woman is that we were being shown in episodes 2 and 3 to find out that it was Monica Rambeau, who was the little girl from Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
and we were seeing like what the second snap happened in that life. And it pretty much catches us up to, I guess, like 3 weeks after the snap happens, and we kind of get a sense of like where the time period is and like what happened post Hulk snap.
You mean the blip when they return? Correct.
Yeah. That what it's
the blip? Is what they call it in Spider-Man, which has then continued to stay. It's the blip when they all return in the chaos, and it was a cool scene. It was cool seeing that angle in a hospital. No less.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was a really good way of jumping into things and explaining what happened in those types of situations, while also showing like, hey, what we just saw in those first 3 episodes, it's not real. And it goes later on throughout that episode to explain kind of to a degree that it's not all real. And they show like all the weird stuff that's been happening in Wanda's world came from the outside world, which we kind of expected to a degree, but we weren't sure how exactly that they were happening. But it turns out like a lot of it is thanks to the hands of S.W.O.R.D, and it comes in hand with stuff that Monica was doing, and also stuff that returning characters, Darcy, Kat Dennings, and Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp, they came into play somehow. And it was good kind of seeing those not old characters, but like those secondary characters come into play, and also just giving us some really cool answers and giving us some cool Easter egg stuff to kind of just explain stuff to a degree, but we don't know everything yet. I just thought it was smartly handled.
I really like the internet went nuts with this, where him and Ant-Man is struggling with those cards, and then he pulls out the card super
Yeah.
magician like, and
Yeah.
everybody was freaking out about those little nuances that Kevin Feige continues to do.
Hmm.
I loved this episode. I loved the angle of the blip. I love that it was uh uh Captain Marvel's best friend who created Sword.
Yeah.
And think of the heartbreak. She's in the hospital. This little girl that we've only seen in Captain Marvel is with her dying mother, and then the snap happens. And I don't think that's being talked about enough. She is with her dying mother, who is a hero in our story,
Hmm.
who her daughter on her deathbed vanishes before her eyes, is really powerful. And her coming back the way she does in the blip is great, with the pure chaos of her just running around not understanding, and finally a doctor
Yeah.
being like, what are you doing? To find out that she is an agent in Sword. She's back. They've got a new up and comer. I actually really liked Kat Dennings back, and I thought she fit in this moment really well. I thought that is
Hmm.
I think Kevin Feige is doing it right. So the movies, she is a weird character. She does not, I don't mind her in Thor 1. I don't like her in Thor 2 as much. And
Yeah.
she gets
Same.
she becomes a little much, but I
Yeah.
thought she's utilized very well in this, and her humor was a lot better in this. Um, and I love them bringing in these side characters. And so our prediction is definitely right. So it is a bubble. I always thought it
Hmm.
was going to be a bubble of her in her mind with
You were gonna
she's
see it.
floating in
Yeah.
the air and there's this bubble containing it, but she is physically in there doing this, and her
Hmm.
mind is manipulated to get to this point. I'm curious what you think of this, because some people online are saying they don't like the show because it portrays Wanda as a crazy woman, and there's a lot of people out there who are saying that's not the angle they wanted, that women are crazy, we don't want to take that angle. Is that kind of, I mean, we're two white males here, but I'm curious, what is your thought on that kind of, because I know that's dividing a lot of people.
I'm not seeing it being depicted that way. I'm seeing it as someone who has gone through a lot of heartbreak, and when the
Grief.
love of her
Yeah.
life like died in front of her twice, like that really is like a triggering thing that can really cause some damage to a person,
Well, not
like
only
not
died
seeing it.
twice, you killed him one of those times.
Yeah.
You
And not
killed him, watch him come back, and then Thanos rips his head open.
and think about what she's gone through before. She's lost her parents before Age of Ultron, and then she lost her brother, her twin brother in Age of Ultron, and then she found a second family in Civil War only for them to be broken apart. And so
And
then
she feels directly responsible in Civil War for dropping
yeah,
the continent on people,
yeah.
or the city.
This
Uh,
it was like a building or something. Yeah, something like that.
Well,
I
in
forget now off the
Civil
top of my
War,
head.
she's upset at the building moment of
Yeah.
people dying in that building, but it plays off of her that she is responsible for Ultron. She feels responsible for a lot of what happened for Ultron, and
Yeah.
that the city was lifted up in Sokovia that then dropped. She takes a
And
lot of the
that's
blame on those people that died.
why hearing Ultron's name triggered her in
Yeah.
the last episode, and we get to see like what it actually looks like, not from like a sitcom standpoint, but like from, I guess, normal looking MCU standpoint, and seeing her, how she reacted to Monica talking to her about Ultron and her throwing her out of there, and seeing how Scarlet Witch is aware of what's going on, but she pieces everything together, but makes it seem like a jump cut, and like a normal sitcom. So
Yeah.
I like that part of it, that we showed it from like a different side, from like the MCU side, if you will. But I don't really depict it as like a crazy woman type of
Yeah.
thing personally. I view it as someone who, in the terms of like the superhero world, has gone through a lot of grief.
Yeah,
So
it's the seven, they believe it's seven. It's the seven, ways you handle and deal with grief and the stages you go through. And she's just in
mhm,
denial. She's in denial of what happened. And
yeah.
so to cope with it, and let's not pretend, if any of us weren't in the same position and we had those powers, we wouldn't be creating a world where he's alive. And the jump scare is awesome. And it is horror-esque when it suddenly is him with
Right.
as if he is decomposed because he's
Mhm.
deactivated and his head's open. That moment is awesome.
Because
And for
that
her to
goes into that goes into her kind of having PTSD about it, having that
Yeah.
grief and anxiety about it. Like that could be I imagine that could be a real thing. Like I'm not one to speak on these matters if that's real or not real, but that's what I would imagine could be pretty realistic.
Yeah, and I think your theory about Nightmare or one of these villains that have been rumored around, either Doctor Strange or whoever, I
I
think
heard
is
Manifesto
more
too, maybe.
Manifesto. There was
Yeah.
another woman I've heard that I can't remember, like a woman character from the
Hmm.
show. Or in the comics. But I think your theory with Catherine Hahn is actually more accurate now, and I think is more possible because of
Yes.
the conversation in episode 3 where they say she's not one of us, and you wonder if because she's sucked into it
Hmm.
and she's an actor, she gets sucked into the mind control, but kind of is able to break apart part of it. And people have talked about when she says her name, she's not really sure what's going on, as if she's kind of in and out of what's happening. And then when she touches Wanda, she's like, "Oh, I'm Geraldine," and like changes a bit as if Wanda had put her into her character. And I like that in this
Right.
episode they take the aspects of the characters. It's like this guy's playing this guy's playing this, and the
Yeah.
only person they didn't mention
Was
was Catherine
I'm
Hahn,
glad you mentioned that.
and they
I'm glad you
did
mentioned
have
that.
her on the board, but
Hmm.
they didn't mention her, which makes me think that they have her face recognition and they have found out who she is, but there's no record of her,
Yeah.
and is my guess. And so I think your theory is more accurate, and a nightmare is a big reason she is doing this. And that when she says, like, "Oh, she's not from around here," like it's because she knows. And I think
Okay.
she manipulates the guy in that scene to kind of be like, "Yeah, not from around here." You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think you're more accurate now on your
I
idea.
like it. All right. I'll stick with it
I
now.
got the bubble. You're gonna get Catherine Hahn, and we're gonna high five because we're the best. Um, yeah, I liked this episode a lot. I loved the thing with the beekeeper, and that when he goes
Hmm.
through, he kind of takes on what this next thing would be, and
Yeah.
or like what he would be with the bees and everything. I liked getting all those little moments with the drone changing.
Hmm.
Uh, Although I mean, drone, it's a helicopter, like it's a toy helicopter. It's not
Yeah.
like they definitely have a show budget here, or
Yeah.
they spent it all on everything else, because she pulls out like a kid helicopter somebody in the art department took 3 days to paint. Like,
They also definitely like made it very known that it is a drone. They're like, here's the drone. Now we're gonna put they were kind of being a
we're
bit
gonna
on the
put the
nose about
drone
it.
here, we're gonna fly the drone into the
Yeah, they keep mentioning the word drone, and it's like we get it. Like okay, fine, it's a drone.
maybe
Like this
Sword
is where
just doesn't
you.
have the budget Shield got. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I've never
or the
heard of them
funding.
for MCU until now, so I guess that's only fair.
Um, anything I really like this episode, and it makes me very curious what we're doing next. And we know we're getting another play on the sitcom with Halloween because they've
Yeah.
teased those old costumes. So
Hmm.
I'm very curious if that's going to be the next episode. And I remember in one of those scenes, it looks like chaos is kind of happening in the background of like Vision's walking up looking intense as people are running around behind him as if they're running from something. So I wonder if the episode will start with that in her world, and then they're going to break her out of whatever's happening. Um, is my
Interesting.
first thought.
Interesting. I don't know if they're gonna be able to break her out necessarily. I think that they're gonna make themselves more prominent at least. You know what I mean? Like I think
Sure.
because we've seen that she's able to like hear uh Jimmy, through like
On
the
the
radio,
radio,
for
yeah.
instance. I could see it to where I don't know, maybe maybe she sees them on a TV somehow, or maybe she like sees silhouettes of them like farther in the distance and she pushes them out again or something, but I don't see them breaking her out necessarily. But unless you want to elaborate more on that, but I'm not too sure if I know what you mean.
I wonder, like, if they're unless they send like a huge force in there, as like I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of how they would like break the bubble open is my thought process. And
Right.
that maybe people running might be that their minds suddenly go back to normal and so they just get
Hmm.
out of there. But I also wonder if it's like finally somebody at Sword goes, "Look, we need to get somebody who's above our pay grade. Can we get Doctor Strange? Can we call up an Avenger? Can we get
Could be
in
Hawkeye.
contact?
Could be Hawkeye.
Yeah.
You were theorizing Hawkeye. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Or
Yeah.
if they try Hawkeye first, or Hawkeye's the link to getting Doctor Strange, or maybe Doctor Strange just shows up and is like, "Look, Wanda, boom, boom, boom," and like busts some stuff out with his magic. Something like that's going to happen. But I think that's what's going to happen next, because I don't think because we're on episode 4, so we have 4 left, right? They're doing 8.
Yeah. 8 or
so
9. 8 probably. Yeah.
And I don't think there's a scene we have yet to see, which makes me think that the next one is definitely this Halloween theme, because after that, there's no footage I remember in the trailers that we have not seen. So I'm wondering if all of that was saved because it's all the big stuff by bringing in a Doctor Strange or a Hawkeye and kind of the big arc of this story, is my thought, the big ending.
I remember some Halloween footage, and I do remember something that almost looked like Modern Family, like a spin on Modern Family. So I wonder if we still have that in another episode. Yeah.
You might
So
be
I don't
right, and I'm
see
misremembering.
I don't see them breaking out her out of anything quite yet. I think they're still gonna keep pushing that as much as they can until maybe episode 7, and then we're really gonna see some juicy stuff unfold.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Guys, what do you think of this episode, and what do you think moving forward? Comment below, let us know. Remember to go get this awesome merch. All this Valentine's Day stuff is great. Kyle worked hard on it, getting those designs, and then we came in, and then I slap it together on a shirt. It's called the Tag Team. So go get all those. It would mean a lot. Go. Thank you again to our patrons. Go join the patronage. Some new tiers are going to be added here shortly to that. And remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, help the channel grow. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.